devices that make noise. Things that go bump in the night.
Now, a quick question before you actually start.
Yes.
You know, when you say hi, like mine, it's my inclination to actually respond.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, how much interaction between the audiences? Not
I am an agent of chaos. So
Very good.
Do you want those backlights?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I hi. I hi. I want to warn you, in case it becomes an issue, that I am going to use I in this lecture more than I normally would like. Now, I normally try to steer clear of I in these lectures because of the potential impropriety involved. Because too much I in academia might be seen as compensating for a lack of empiricism, though I believe that this is not necessarily the dominant ideology in academia at the present time. There's been something here all along. I steer clear of I in the same way that I steer clear of biking or gardening or plenty of other things that I'd like to do but don't. I know that I should probably embrace the I just don't wanna. I've been told that it is wise to pursue the things and activities that we don't wanna, but should wanna, because this is it in terms of learning. Investing in the things we don't wanna, but should wanna is how you build character. I've been told this. I've been told this. Again. And again. And again. But actually, I've already spent too much time discussing eyes. I am not interested in discussing eyes. In fact, it's quite the opposite. I am invested in investigating what happens when the eyes are no longer in control of interpreting the world. I and here to eschew the eyes in favor of the ears. Eschew the eyes in favor of the ears. So all those in favor of eschewing the eyes in favor of the ears, in favor of eschewing the eyes in favor of the ears, say aye.
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 The ayes have it. Hi. Thank you all for coming. But enough pleasantries. Thank you for coming to this lecture, a lecture about theater and a theater built for lectures. I would like to begin, before we get to the lecture itself, discussing the musical theater collaboration between Herbert Brun and Alfred Jarry called OU, floating parentheses. Before we begin with the lecture proper, I think it best, I'm sure you've all done the reading, but I'm not sure of anything. And I know the world, and I know myself. And I think that many of you did not do the reading. So before we begin this lecture, I would just like to take a brief moment and recap the piece that we are going to be discussing. So just to recap, to begin at Act 1, Scene 1, Blackout. Night. You enter, and another actor upstage right points to you. They instruct you to move in a specific pattern, which you do. The lights flicker, fluorescent. All tasks are completed. Blackout. Act 1, Scene 2. You are, again, instructions. Your instructions come in 3 forms. 1 form, 2 formal, 3 firm, in that order. You, describing some other skeleton that is not your skeleton and your fellow actor's skeleton, you take ample time fixating on the skull. Crosses upstage right, center, upstage left, downstage slowly, in that order. All instructions are given out of the sight of the audience. Exit. Scene 3. The skull, now having been amply described, instructs itself to be skeletal. Now this makes a ripple in the skin, direct. You enter and you're holding a to-do list. Because this is what we are doing now, apparently. It's not your list, but you meet it as an equal vis-a-vis instructions. Because now we are doing the things on that list. A purloined to-do list gives no leads, except that the leads you give it. Your partner crosses upstage right, blissfully unaware of the list and the skulls instruct. Your partner exits. There's a pause, a soft smile. You cross number 3 off the list. The skull exits. Lights out. Scene 4. Several days later. Night. But like, stage night? You know, as if a tired lighting tech accidentally swapped all the green gels for blue. That kind of night. Did you catch that? It was subtle, it was indirect. But there was that moment right before the skull exited in scene 3, and then the blackout, you know? There was a brief instant when your whole skeleton just naturally compressed. I mean, it's probably too late to do anything about it now. I mean, a good actor catches those kind of things before they get out of hand, but oh well. A skeleton instructed to be compressed is probably, well, it might be, a fossil. Compressed without time or air, as contained, as contaminated, as murmurized. And by that I mean a memorial and light gossip. Instruction compressed into directive in what we are going to do, is what we are doing. Compression, as it were, comes from the process of dismantling, as opposed to utilities or outside pressure. Push on a pile of bones with your hands should not change the entire conception of a skeleton. Even if that skeleton, when it was a skeleton, might have been better off a pile. Exit. Blackout. Scene 5. Now, in order to properly understand the subtext of Scene 5, what the authors were intending, and how that intention butted up against the realities of, well, reality, I want you to consider the phrase, "I am here." And I want you to consider it here. And then I want you to consider it here. Consider it symbiotically with itself, which I guess is to say, consider it here, where the here is both the origin of the it and the place where you are considering it from. So which is like, I suppose, saying, consider the tar from inside the pit. Or consider the break from a place of pause. Consider the phrase, "I am here." From here. But not yet. Connor. Don't get up. And I don't want you to get up because I am here. And the minute that you as the audience feel the need or find the drive or simply decide to act upon your instincts to participate in this lecture in that sort of manner which perhaps I've not prescribed, but certainly I've insinuated in my way. The moment that you have ingratiated yourself into this place, we will be overrun with hears. Thank you for taking direction. You're here. And you're here. Overrun with hears. Connor's here. Sam's here. And then, of course, I'm referring in this case to the possessive your, not the contraction. I don't mean to say that faced with an audiential stampede, my last words will be, "Oh, you're here!" Although I can imagine that there is some light poetry in such a situation. And I think it goes without saying that I'm not referring to your in the days of variety, although perhaps if I were to stumble upon a certain entrepreneurial ticklet laying previously dormant inside of me, and I would choose to scrap this capitalistic itch, to scratch this enterprising ache by moving to commodify nostalgia itself, I suppose I could go out in the guise of a carnival barker or a concessions vendor, wassailing my way through crowded sporting aisles with a little cooler. Only my cooler would not have the Cracker Jack, the Coca-Cola. It would have nostalgia. And I would say, "You're here. Get your days of yore here." Maybe a little urchin cap. Oh yes. I can see that. But that's for later. But for now, I want you to imagine that you are considering the phrase, "I am here," from here, where the here is my here. Theater is spectacle. Spectacle is a reveal. A reveal is a chance for a reconsideration of what just was. I've been told this. Blackout. Scene 7. In an effort to show dramaturgically the passage of time, stagehands place 1,825 individual one-a-day desk calendar sheets in a meticulously seemingly random orientation on the stage, until the entire proscenium invokes the pastoral coverings of deep autumn leaves. Now, occasionally the stagehands will stop to chat with each other too quietly to be heard by the audience. Sometimes performers, stagehands, everybody just leaves the stage for several minutes before returning. There's a pattern to it, truly, but one whose logic is withheld from the audience. Cyclical, modular, opaque. Scene 7 takes a little less than 4 hours to complete. And the stage directions is only 2 words. Less urgency. With the several hand-drawn underlines under the word less. As though to say, whatever ends up happening up on stage will intrinsically be too much. In later versions of the publication, the stage directions also note that the calendar pages should be either Bible verses or pictures of boats. The scene takes place in relative silence. Every 3 minutes there is a single piano note which is chosen at random and then discarded by the player, who then plays whatever he wants. The intended effect on the audience during scene 7 is something like stages of grieving, only in reverse, beginning with an acceptance that at least a choice is being made, and then moving backwards into something that is definitely not acceptance, starting with a light fidget of the fingers of the right hand, which echoes itself more prominently in other body parts. The swing of the foot with a ring finger, a synecdoche, or or a self-puppet show. And then this passes into what you might consider a stage 3. And this involves the audience members, either independently or in some sort of self-determined Lord of the Flies style breakout groups, developing new ways of measuring time, non-cyclical ways, unmodular, all out of a necessity to keep from going insane. The night I attended, some of these methodologies included calendar leaves, skeleton as opposed to skeletal compression, modes of difficulty, to-do lists, and unfinished to-do lists. Sometimes, not every time, but it's happened when I attended. The audience will then resort to performing their own plays in the back of the house or in the lobby as sort of an extended coping mechanism. With these new methodologies for measuring time substituted into the text. I've actually been told this happens a lot. For example, when I attended, our group ended up performing bits of a Christmas Carol. What's today? Cry me down, boy, loitering. Eh? Might be this one in return, wondering, now what's today, my fine fellow? And then me. What today? Why, today is calendar leaves covering 3/4 of the floor with a slight lump in the corner, skeleton at 24 psi, resulting in a noticeable bowing of the left tibia, moderately trudgy, 17 bulleted points untouched for several weeks now. Otherwise known as Christmas Day. Stage 5 brings us back to stage 1. A completed cycle. Not acceptance, exactly, but at least familiarity. Parts and wholes. A loop. Blackout. Scene 8. A dream ballet. Which is also the post-show discussion. And the bar after the show. And the taxi ride home. And the next day. And the next day. We are unmoored in time.